So then guys, great news! Donald Trump has just announced that the likes of mobile devices, including say the iPhone, MacBooks, iPads, AirPods, you name it, are going to be exempt from higher tariffs. So that means if we get things manufactured in say other countries like China, India, things like this, they are now going to be exempt and they're not actually going to cost more to actually sell them in the USA. Because at the end of the day, we've been hearing of lots of leaks and rumors bouncing around that a new iPhone could be potentially be made in the USA and it's going to cost a lot more with that. And what I am going to say is the rest of this video, what you're going to see here, was made before this announcement came out. And it gives you a good idea of what could have actually happened. So what I would say is continue watching because it's quite interesting to see how much a USA made iPhone would have been and if the tariffs have stayed exactly the same, what it could be. But what I'll also be saying just quickly, I am going to make another video now giving you more details of what the actual sort of potential prices are going to be, saying for MacBooks, iPads, iPhones, now that we've got these exemptions in place and obviously they're going to be exempt from these tariffs. But with that, let's return back to the main video now. So then guys, the new iPhone 17 models, are they going to be super expensive on launch now with all this news about tariffs and everything like that? Well, today I want to drill further into this. I want to tell you my own opinions here of everything that's going on with tariffs right now and also what will the cost be for new iPhones when they could potentially come out in September time this year. Now, the first thing I do actually want to say to you guys right off the bat here is I'm no financial expert or anything like this. I do look at the stock markets. I don't follow them like every single day or things like this. You know, I'm not a sort of a money analyst or anything like this. And also at the same time here, I'm staying completely neutral here on whether, you know, Donald Trump is right or Donald Trump is wrong. That is something I just want to make clear here. What I more want to get you guys in the picture about is the kind of things that I cover on this channel is to do with iPhones and things like this. Are they going to get more expensive for you if you live in the US or if you live elsewhere in the world? And also what kind of options Apple have open to them right now. So first of all then, let's talk about say the iPhone 16 Pro Max as a good example and also the likes of a iPhone 16 normal too. So if you didn't know already, the likes of the iPhone 16 and also the iPhone 16 Plus are actually manufactured in India. The likes of say the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 16 Pro, well, around about 80% of them are manufactured actually in China and about 20% of them are actually manufactured in India too. Now, I know some of you guys are going to straight away say to me in the comments, yeah, well, there's other parts that are also manufactured in other countries too. Yes, I get that. But the bulk of it right now, those are the two kind of main countries where the four kind of iPhone 16s that are made right now, or should even say the 5 iPhone 16s if you count the iPhone 16e, if you want to include that. But the main thing is, as we've seen in the press, we've seen in the news that obviously Donald Trump's, government, what he wants to do here is that he actually wants to press in here and actually have, say, higher tariffs for, say, US people out there if they want to buy in Chinese goods. Now, this is something that we've all been hearing about. But let's use an example here for today. Let's use the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the base model, was also the most popular model of any iPhone what's actually sold right now is the 256GB iPhone 16 Pro Max. Well, that one starts at $1,200, $1,199 US dollars. And we've actually seen a report right here that actually even says that more than likely this is probably going to go up to say $2,000 for this baseline model if the tariffs actually get introduced and go ahead with everything that's going to go ahead for the iPhone 17 models. This is how much more expensive it really could get. What's absolutely crazy. You know, this is like about 80% more in cost here. And this is really, really shocking news to actually hear this. Now, some of you guys might be saying, well, Donald Trump is introducing that. Obviously, he's saying that what we should do is actually build more in, say, the USA. Well, some companies have actually done some research here, and in fact, it does look like if, say, an all-in-one iPhone was manufactured, the chip, everything was created in the USA, and taxes and everything that you guys have got over there. Actually, the actual cost of an iPhone would actually cost $3,500 for it. And this is really, really expensive. But what I will say is that is obviously the 1 terabyte option. So yeah, that's the far more expensive one out there. But you can imagine that having, say, a 256 gigabyte model, it's going to cost probably even more. So obviously, like, the prices right now is only $400 between each of them right now. So, you know, if you got yourself the 256 gigabyte model, you know, like I said, that costs you right now $1,200. If you decided to go for the more expensive 1 terabyte, the top layer one, that's $1,599 US. This could change to $3,500. That is a huge amount. You know, that is more than double what you're paying right now if it was manufactured in the US. So in my honest opinion, I don't think that Apple right now at this stage probably want to move all of their iPhones over to the US and get them created there. Now, you might have heard some bits and pieces in the press as well saying that Apple are going to be reinvesting a load of money back into the US, and that is true. They're going to open up a plant in Texas and things like this, but this is more to do with Apple Intelligence actually, and it's also to build up servers and things like this, offer 20,000 jobs there, and also they're putting a couple of billion or a few billion into sort of more investment into sort of chip making and also the process behind actually manufacturing chips. But it's not actually official that the chips would actually be made in the USA, apart from maybe the ones for the servers for this Apple Intelligence sort of plant in Texas. Nothing to do with actual iPhone sort of chips. Maybe, you know, the blueprints of that might be adjusted and manufactured, but it doesn't look like the full production of iPhones and iPads and MacBooks and things like this are going to be moving over to the USA anytime soon at the moment. And that is the crazy thing, what's going on. So what I would be saying is, if you are going to be going for a Pro iPhone right now, unless Apple decides to have their options to sort of move things into, say, India and things like this, then, you know, the actual cost of iPhones are going to get really, really expensive soon. But something that is going to remain free on this channel at the very least is the giveaway that we are doing for this right here. This here is a MacBook Air with an M4 inside it, a 13.6-inch display model. And what we've actually got inside of this, we've actually got the full fat M4. So this is the 10-core CPU, the 10-core GPU, and it's had a couple of other upgrades as well. It's got 24 gigabytes of RAM, and it's also got 512 gigabytes of storage, so it's not the baseline model at all. And I'm giving this away to one lucky subscriber at the end of June time on this channel. And the great news is that you can still enter into this giveaway right now. All you have to do at this stage is just put down into the comments below of what technology gear you're hoping to get in 2025. Maybe it still will be a new iPhone 17. Maybe it's going to be something like a MacBook. Maybe it's got nothing to do with Apple whatsoever. It could be the new Nintendo Switch 2, what you can pre-order now. Or maybe it's going to be, say, an NVIDIA RTX graphics card or something else completely different. Just let me know in the comments below at this stage. Now, the reason why I say at this stage is because later on, when we get to near the end of June time, I'll be making a video giving you more details about the giveaway, including a form to fill in too, and most importantly, I'll also be telling you when I'll be doing the live stream for this MacBook Air. You won't want to miss out on that, so the best thing you can do is make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell too. And with that as well, guys, what I just want to say is that sadly, there are still lots of scammers and spammers out there, people still impersonating, turning to WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram direct message. Please do ignore these people. Best to see right here. Please do report them. So moving on then from this then, I think we've got the realization at the moment where it stands, where, you know, I'm making this video, you're seeing it right now. If you're seeing it just a day or two after it's being released or at the time, well, it does look like iPhones are going to get really, really expensive. But we have heard in sort of recent news and whispers that there is the possibility that, you know, Donald Trump's office here and his government, whatever, he might actually do some exceptions to some companies here, and Apple might be one of them, especially doing that big investment into Texas, building a plant there and things like this. You never know. We might actually get something there where costs could actually get down. There could be an exemption there on those sort of taxes and things like this. Now, one thing I also want to mention out there is that obviously the iPhone's going to get more expensive and things like this. Now, a lot of you guys will go, that's it, it's time to jump ship. I'm leaving Apple, I'm going to Google, or I'm going to Samsung. do remember that a lot of these other companies, they manufacture their sort of products in China too. So, you know, a lot of the Samsung products are manufactured in China, even though they're a South Korean company. Same with Google Pixel as well. So just remember that their costs are also going to increase here. But obviously Apple is in sort of the limelight here of what's going on. So yeah, just be aware of that obviously not many other people are talking about that, but that is going to be the situation here. Now, something else that some of you guys might be wondering, if you're not a US viewer here, if you're from the UK like me, Canada, other countries, all over the world, everyone else but the US, you might be asking, well, is it going to get more expensive for me? Are iPhones going to cost me more money now, being that I'm in a different country to the US? I might be able to still get it at the same price I bought the iPhone 16 models. Well, that is a big question which still hasn't been answered. What we don't know is at this stage is if it's the consumer who is going to be charged these extra kind of cost money, or, you know, how can I put it that, for example, that if an iPhone gets shipped to the US, then obviously it's going to cost more in those sort of tariff kind of costs there, and then obviously that could be passed down to the consumer, or Apple could absorb some of that. Or let's say an iPhone gets shipped from China to the UK. Well, does that mean because it's going straight from China to the UK, does it get exempt from those sort of extra tariffs? But at the end of the day, you know, Apple is a US company. We're not sure. I'm going to be deadly honest. We don't know. At the end of the day, I know, for example, the country next door to me was Ireland. A lot of Apple sort of taxes and things like this go through Ireland right now. And, you know, you could actually argue that, you know, Apple could actually sort of split that bit of the company out, as it were, and actually start saying, yeah, well, that's to do with Ireland and things like this and the rest of Europe. So they get the cheaper sort of rate for the actual iPhones. We just don't know at the moment how this is going to affect things. So what I will say is, for everybody else in the world, you know, if the company is a USA company, we're not sure right now how that's going to affect it. Now, obviously there are other companies out there. I can think of like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, you know, and I know a lot of these companies are also franchises too, how they're sold off and things like this. We're just not sure how this is going to work out. It's a little bit up in the air at the moment. But what I would be saying is right now, sad to say, it does look like at the moment, iPhones are going to get more expensive. But as we've been seeing recently in the news and in the press, every day it's always changing. So hopefully, you know, in a couple of days, this video is just going to be a load of trash, rubbish, wherever you are in the world, you want to call it. And hopefully prices will just resume the same. But until then, what I would be saying is, yeah, it is probably going to cost, at the moment, it's looking likely that an iPhone 17 model is going to cost more. But on that note then, guys, like I will say again, these are just my own kind of facts. These are just my own kind of understandings of it. I'm not an expert in money and stocks and, you know, shares and things like this. So yeah, that's just my opinion. But let me know your thoughts, what you think is going to happen here with Apple. What do you think they should do? Put it down in the comments below. And with that as well, guys, it's time to wrap up this video too. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. And then always, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell too. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.